Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Nothing But the Game. This is episode 23. I feel like I'm just gonna stop
Ooh,
announcing.
yes.
I'm gonna stop announcing the
No,
numbers.
keep it up. I forget every single
When I
time.
get to episode 55, like I don't know, it's just like who still numbers their podcasts. But
I listened to quite a few that actually number them, and they're at like, this is episode 374. Like, all right.
all right,
Hey,
all right,
you know how to keep track of things. I
yeah,
trust you.
all right. So episode 23. This is where we're at. We are week 5, or we're on week 6 now of the NFL. We just finished up
Yes.
week 5. We have some new content out. Evan, why don't you talk about that?
Hell yeah. Hey, man. So we just posted it up there. We really, nothing but the game, want to talk about. Obviously, we're talking on the pro side of things, but there's another half. We got the Devy side of things for everybody that is looking at guys, or on the dynasty, where you're looking at players that are going to be coming up out of college. The ones that maybe you want to get some sneak peeks on. We posted our first video. We got Matthew with us in that episode, or that video where we're going over our top 10. I propose it as my top 10 favorite, top 10 guys that are going to be coming out. He put it in as the actual favorite guys to like kind of keep an eye out for. So there's a lot of variety in that episode. And those are all the Devy guys that are declaring for 2023 odds, most likely. And yeah, man, it's super fun because we want to provide all this content that'll actually get you from the Devy side all the way through the pro side, and the heavy focus on who's going to actually make your roster. We're not here to talk bad about certain players, knock people down. We're out to find the guys that are going to actually make your fantasy football rosters on the pro side of things. So there could be some super awesome, man. I've fallen in love with college players that just blow my mind. I'm a Longhorn fan. We have a lot of players that blow our mind on the college side and then just don't do anything on the pro side.
Yeah.
So I'm completely familiar with it. And we want to focus on bringing you the guys that'll be on the pro side, and not only the pro side, but the fantasy roster side of things. So yeah, that's what we'll be talking about. This is the first video. It'll evolve as we go. We don't have a name yet. So if anybody wants to comment in the channel here, a name for our Devy shows, give us a shout.
Absolutely. Nothing But the Game presents College Rules.
Ooh, man. Oh. That takes me back to like 13-year-old me watching late night shows that I shouldn't be watching.
Right. Devy Gone Wild. No.
Woo! We will not be shirtless, I promise.
I love it.
We will keep our clothes on for those episodes.
Hey, for all you fantasy football managers out there, like Devy Dynasty, like this is the next chapter. This is the next next evolution of it all. I mean, this year was really big on the best ball. I think best ball really kind of hit the mainstream, and just for anybody that just plays fantasy football for the love of managing your team. Like that's what I do it, right? I love the idea of being able to start somebody like, they're saying that he's not going to do good, but I'm going to start him because I think he's going to go off. Like that's what I really do it for. This Devy stuff is like, it's a game changer. I mean, it is. And you feel like you are the GM of your team. Like you are
exactly.
Like that is what it feels like. It is the next chapter of fantasy.
There's
football.
Reasons why, man. They came out with like, I don't remember what it was because I haven't played video games since I was like, I don't know how old, but they came out with like the GM, like Madden almost, where you could like be the manager.
Right.
But then also this is for like, we're hitting that window because I was part of that window where I would get the like NCAA, whatever year, put your mark on there, and you could recruit the players, and then, you're recruiting your guys, whatever, pick. You most people end up picking some like obscure university that they build up, and now it's like the Alabama, like Albany is now the Alabama University.
Right.
But you recruit these guys, but you simulate through the seasons. This is like literally, it's that you're having everybody that's growing up with that getting into this, and you're seeing a huge growth. And we just want to jump in and help out wherever we can because it is a massively fun field.
Yeah, man, I'm just now getting into it myself, and again, anybody that's just tuning in, I've explained this before. I come from an area that college football really isn't that big, so it's super hard for me
Right.
to it's super hard for me to dive into college football and really follow it. But now that I'm a part of this Devi Dynasty stuff, and like, yeah, Saturday mornings, like that's what I'm doing. I'm gearing up and I'm ready. I'm trying to find I'm trying to find the next guy,
I mean, there's
next
no
champ.
reason I would ever watch a UAB game, but when you've got a guy like Dwayne McBride as your running back, all of a sudden Alabama Birmingham sounds kind of fun to watch because you
Yeah.
get to check it out. So yeah, definitely check it out. We'll provide some info for you, but now I guess we'll get to the more pro side of things, I guess.
Yeah, so I just wanted to do
What we want to blend into.
I wanted to do a quick recap of week 5 and like just kind of discuss, some of the things that are standing out. First, are the Giants good?
If you watch that game, I think there's a better question: is Aaron Rodgers washed?
So it's hard for me to sit here and say that Aaron Rodgers is washed, just because I mean he's a four-time MVP going into this season, right? Like, and it's is he washed?
I watching that, it didn't look like a veteran conducting a team to me.
No,
it looked like somebody who was out there frustrated with, like, a coach that's frustrated with a whole bunch of, like, I don't know, 5th grade soccer players.
right. So
That's
it really comes down to an integrity question here. Like it's very much like Ben Roethlisberger last year was I felt like he was not in it at all. Like he was checked out, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is checked out yet, but you could see the frustration that he's not, he's not used to change, and this is change, right? And there's in the workforce, you have the individuals that fear change, and this is almost a reflection of that, So yeah, I mean, that's
but really... not to diminish New York then, because watching that game too, they looked, and as a Cowboys fan, I mentioned last week where they find a way to win, and I haven't seen that as a Cowboys fan in a long time. New York Giants, man, they're finding a way to win. It's that, and so I don't want to diminish that. Yeah, I was impressed.
And to me, like the teams that are able to find a way to win, right? So that's driven. Mm-hmm. That's driven through your coach. That's driven through your locker room atmosphere, and that makes teams dangerous.
Yeah.
Like that makes teams dangerous. So, it'll be interesting. They play the Giants. Their schedule is they have a huge stretch of the NFC East at the end of their schedule. So coming up, I'm trying to pull up their schedule real quick. Well, they got a pretty soft schedule until they start getting into their NFC East games, right? So, it would be kind of cool to see them sneak in there as, the 7th spot in the wild card. Brian Daboll, first time head coach, really try to start turning around that organization and, making the playoffs attract players, it attracts free agency. So,
and you're doing it with, honestly, I mean, I don't even really know. Like you look on the team and there's injuries all over the place still.
Right.
In that wide receiver core, especially. And well, shoot, now I haven't even looked at the status of. Didn't they have another guy that just got hurt in the last game? I can't remember. But either way, like they're short all their starting wide receivers.
Well, I think it was essentially Kenny Golladay the week before had got hurt.
Yeah, right? Week before, Wan'Dale Robinson hasn't even played really. Was it Sterling Shepard that got hurt?
Sterling Shepard is done for the season, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, so that's probably the thing that's triggering my mind.
He tore, pretty sure he tore ACL and some other ligament. It was a pretty serious, knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
So another team I want to talk about too, even though they lost last week to the Chargers, I just kind of want to go back a few episodes ago at the start of the season when we were talking about what are the Browns going to do and what is their identity going to be. And I think we hit the nail on the head about their identity. And they are, but they're crushing it, man. Like I feel like granted that they lost, right? They lost this game, but
despite the Chargers' efforts to give it to them.
Right. Nick Chubb is going off, dude.
Oh man.
Like,
and I don't even know how many years it's been where he's like, and I feel like I hear it every 2 or 3 weeks on whatever game they're playing, listening to the red zone, he makes a touchdown or a big play. And it's like, he is the, the best running back in the league, like actually just running back. You hear it on fantasy football stuff all the time, but that doesn't portray into points. It's like it's hitting his peak where he is like the best running back, and it's now actually reflecting in points.
Right.
Because his all-around ability is just, I'd want him on my team.
Yeah.
If I was building an actual team.
Yeah, I mean,
he'd be my number one guy.
And it kind of raises the question too, like earlier in the season, at the start of the season, Kareem Hunt wanted to get traded, and then, obviously he's out there playing, but Nick Chubb carrying the workload of the trade deadline coming up soon. Like, I wonder who makes the move for Kareem Hunt, because I feel like that's somebody that's gonna end up getting moved.
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge, like, I like the chemistry that Jacoby Brissett and Amari Cooper are building too, and
yes,
David Njoku as well. He is,
he's coming into his own, yes. And it's that typical tight ends take 4 to 5 years to really develop themselves. Because he's had the athletic freak ability for a long time. It's just the thing that a lot of people wrote him off on. It was not like, it was like a lot of boneheaded plays, or just like lack of concentration where you just hit your hands and drop, or you would run a sloppy route.
Right.
It seems like that's developing. I'm not going to put him in a top 10 tight end status as of yet.
No, but it's good. That's just the type of pressure that you want to take off of Nick Chubb in order to allow Nick Chubb to thrive. You know what I mean? It's like, they're connecting just enough with these outside guys to keep defenses, out of the box. Like, and it's good. It's really good for Cleveland. Despite everything in the offseason, like, I'm, excited to see, Cleveland being competitive, and I'm excited to see what that's going to do for the AFC North down the stretch here.
It has me anticipating a massive amount too, the whole Watson arrival now.
Right.
Because Brissett is, like you said, he's holding his own. He's doing great. He's commanding a team. And we've seen him do that before for multiple game stretches. Now it's going to be curious to me, like, where the last 2 weeks, then once Watson, because week 8 is he available, or it's through week 8 that he's out?
So Watson is allowed to practice now, but he's not allowed to play. I thought it was week 11.
It may be, yeah.
I thought it was 12. I thought it was a 12-game suspension.
It probably was. There were so many, dates put out there. But either way, once he comes in, I think it's going to be like, I think the last 2 weeks before he arrives, it's really going to be dependent on that. Even though he's built up all this, they put a lot of money into Watson. I'm not saying they're not going to start him, but I think that where you can be in those last 2 weeks that Brissett performs,
yeah.
You don't want to just throw something in into the works if it's working. And right now they do have something chugging along.
And then the last team I wanted to talk about, and this is really kind of a hot take, and I saw it on one of the football talk shows. I wish I could quote who, but it was the hottest take, dude. It was said that. I think it was the Rich Eisman show. The Rich Eisman show is in they go the Rams aren't going to make the playoffs.
Oh.
It was such a hot take, man, and I thought it was a really good take because they are misfiring on everything right now. granted, Cooper Kupp had that 79-yard touchdown. Like, I even feel like the Matt Stafford Cooper Kupp connection is not hitting nearly at the level that it was last season.
And last season was a peak.
Right.
Yeah. If he performed it again, that'd be freakish. But that you're right on the connection. The connection seems weird. And honestly, to me, I'm not throwing like this guy in there to where like what's the issue, but I feel like it's like there's a, I don't know what's going on, but it's like there's a piece missing that can be relied upon. And I don't know if there's just no connection with Allen Robinson on Stafford's side.
Right.
To where teams are now like, hey, let's just hone in on Kupp because he doesn't have this connection with Robinson. Skowronek is as fun and as twitchy as he is, he's not gonna win a game. He's not gonna take over a game.
Right. So like in like characteristic wise, like now you're almost looking at two identical type receivers between Cooper Kupp and Skowronek, and like you're missing a guy on the outside, which is supposed to be Allen Robinson, but on the flip side too, like Stafford's not getting time to get the ball, so like they got to figure out something because you're not going to get the outside. You're not going to get the outside because you don't have the time. So they either need to get, open up their screens. They need to do something to, get the guys out of the box, to take the pressure off a little bit. I mean, and
it's showing too where at that point you would want to rely on your run.
Yeah.
A little bit more to set up these paths, to set up everything. And I've never been a Cam Akers guy. I like his ability and what he can do, but I don't think he's a full-blown. And you've seen Darrell Henderson perform in games and then drop off, so I don't know what's going on there, because you feel like, hey, if we need to get time for Stafford, let's funnel these two guys. Let's just get Akers and Henderson just rocking. And I'm not seeing that at all.
Well, no, I mean, in the beginning of the season, it was, Cam Akers wasn't getting his touches to get going, and then when you try to get
right,
and then you try to feed the rock to Akers, and now Henderson is slowed down. So like they got to find a balance between the two backs. I mean, clearly teams in the league are successful with the running back by committee type thing. And they're just missing on every level with that to get either one of those guys really going. So, I mean, I have Dallas's defense in one of my fantasy football leagues, and I was so confident in starting that last week, and I'm glad I did, because I ended up getting like 23 points for it. Like it was an awesome.
That combo of that rush combo, and honestly too, it's so crazy to me seeing how specific pieces get put into play. And this is on the defensive side, where for Dallas, Micah Parsons, his abilities not only allows Lawrence to come in and rush, be more free rusher, so he's not getting double teamed, but it also Van Der Esch, the other linebacker there,
right, is
before it's like he was having to be the blitzer, and that's not him. He's not. He is great at cover. He you want to put him on a tight end, you want to get him in there and like just be a disruptor and be that gang tackling rush to the. He's not the quick read. I'm gonna blitz in there, figure it out, overpower you, anything like that. And it's allowing him to do that though, because when you had like Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch in there, it's like you had two of the same guy, but none of them actually did that job perfectly. So the beautiful makeup of actually assembling a team is what you're seeing with the addition of Parsons there. And hopefully he'll be all healthy and ready to go this upcoming week.
Yeah, so I actually want to take that, and I want to kind of transition into our pick'ems this week.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start with that. I wanted to get your take on Dallas at Philadelphia.
Oh man. Okay, so as I clear everything out from this Southern California air, it's destroying my lungs. I feel like this dust and everything. It's Philadelphia to me is a more complete team right now. the thing that props it up for Dallas to give them this ability is once again, you're going to this just find a way to win. That could be a combination of game plan with coaching and just tenacity out in the field, but it's also a defense. You have to have a defense that is able to lock down and just be tenacious. And that combination of Parsons with Diggs is, I think it's going to prove to be very, very fruitful for both guys because he's a hawk, Diggs is. And with that blitz coming in, if you have a guy that's just going to throw the ball away, that Diggs will take advantage of that,
Right.
which will then just, it's going to elevate a lot of stuff for them. Being in Philly and the fact that I'm not a Cooper Rush overtake Dak guy. I know the talent skills, nor am I Dak is the guy that you should have been leaning on this whole time. I think there's a lot of flaws there, and it's been masked for a little while. I'm going to take Philly in this, and that's not an unpopular opinion, but it is if Parsons is able to fluster Hurts, I think this will be a very good. Hurts has had his like breakout year, where it's like, oh my gosh, he's just putting out tons of points, and he's actually commanding a team. I think if you're able to maneuver around with a Parsons rushing at you and still be calm and collective in the pocket, and maybe not resort to the legs immediately, this could be a big breakthrough game for Philly and Hurts if Parsons is able to rush but still manage it. So yeah.
So I think this is a really important week to get Zeke going. And kind of maintain and try to take the big play capabilities of Philadelphia out of the game. And
yeah,
then, I mean, again, if Parsons, I mean, and this is really like, I mean, can I get a plus or minus on the Parsons thing here? Like,
while we're talking here, you keep going. I'm going to see the status of him, because I haven't looked at it since yesterday.
So,
but
Micah Parsons to me is, not to turn this into a fandom type thing here, but Micah Parsons to me is like the Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Like as long as Josh Allen's on the field, I think there's always a chance that they can win a game, right? No matter what. And that's kind of, and that's what Micah Parsons is to me. So like his status is everything in this game. And it's your first, if I'm not mistaken, it's your second NFC East matchup this season.
Mm-hmm.
With you
played the Redskins already.
The Commanders. The Commanders.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's all right.
Flashing back.
I thought it was the Giants, but anyways, I think it's important to get Zeke going, get the run game going, get Tony Pollard involved, and really just eat up clock, take the big plays out of it. And I'm just gonna go on a limb here just to be different. I want to say Dallas wins this.
Ooh, all right.
I'm gonna take.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna take Dallas. I really like Dallas, dude. Like I really like, and I like. I'm with you on the whole. Anybody that's saying Cooper Rush takeover type thing, like,
yeah, it's.
I mean, this guy is the ultimate game manager. Do the absolute bare minimum as a quarterback to win games. Like, I respect that, but that's not the direction that this league is going into, and it's honestly not going to. It's not going to be sustainable. So.
Yeah, it really is. Being a few Cowboy groups, people throw it out there, and it's like, oh, he's undefeated. It's like, well, let's just like pump the brakes here,
right,
and figure out. Now, the thing that is difficult to gauge on there is the fact that you are taking on teams that are on paper good. The Rams, Cincinnati. You've taken them on and beat them in that time that Cooper Rush has been playing. And I mean, technically, New York Giants. I mean, records wise,
Right,
they're better than Cincinnati. So, it'll pan out. It'll be fun to watch. If you're not a Cowboys fan, we'll stop talking about it.
So the next game that we have on the list, is Buffalo at Kansas City.
Ooh.
So I'm just gonna start off with, I was at that game last week for the Bills at Pittsburgh. I mean, with against Pittsburgh, and it was just unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I just found it ironic because last week on the show, we had a viewer. A viewer was chiming in. He's like, I'm gonna drop Gabe Davis because nobody wants to trade for him. Da da da. And he just, he goes.
And I said he needs to show something before, but it's exactly what I'm talking about. Though he goes off, and then.
I mean, but that was like off, man. I mean, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns, like.
And I had in a league that I'm in, no lie, it's a Devy league I have set up. I've got all 3. I've got Diggs, Davis, and Shakir. If I'm saying his name right.
Shakir,
and I had all 3 of them in my starting lineup because of injuries. And I was like, I can't have 3 guys for the same damn team, like all on there. I can't. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go with Diggs. And I'm going to put like Devin Duvernay in the place of Shakir. And I can't remember who I put in Gabe Davis' spot. I should have started all 3.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah. It was
like an idiot.
Yeah. So it was just unbelievable to watch, man. It was unbelievable to watch the plays develop, right? So like from a stand point of view, like you could see all 22 type thing, and you could see especially on that 98-yarder, like the third play of the game, when Davis splits the safety in the corner, dude. He splits the double coverage, and you're just like, holy cannoli, like there it is, dude. And like, I mean, this stadium erupted. It was awesome. It was awesome to be there. It was great to see that. And going into this game, and this isn't even me being a homer at this point. I think, having 2 really bad weeks where you're battling the weather. It was hot in Miami, and then it was raining in Baltimore. I think the Bills offense truly needed a really large explosive game like this just to get all the bearings greased. And I'm gonna take the Bills simply because I think they're the better team, man. I mean, defensively they haven't allowed besides the Miami Dolphins, not a single so in week 3. So they haven't allowed a second half score. We're talking field goal or touchdown in the second half since week 3 against Miami. They allowed I believe it was a field goal.
Woo.
So like, and then on top of that, they're outscoring. They're outscoring opponents in the second half. So their ability to make adjustments at halftime is, it's there. And I just think they are the better team. I mean, I don't know.
At this point, they are. If you're getting peak, which like I feel like we did last year in the KC Buffalo, you're getting peak KC, peak Buffalo, it's going to be a shootout. It'll probably end up being that last man or last team with the ball. I'm as much as I want for, equal side here, pick KC, I can't. The way that Buffalo is playing consistently is even in their Miami loss, I feel like
500 yards of offense. So
yeah, it was that to me. That was just a Miami. I thought the matchup was interesting. Whenever that game is, that was a pick'em that we had. I thought the matchup, I don't know why, just fit Miami at the moment. I'm going to take Buffalo in this as well.